back to the Check-In podcast. My name is Megan.
And my name's Amy. Thank you for checking in.
Hope you're all really well. And if you're enjoying our content, then please do make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel and following us on all of our social media. We are on Pinterest, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Music. We're on all the good stuff. So make sure you're checking us out. On today's episode,
we're going to be talking about cancellations and how to deal with them, cancellation policies.
And we have had a question come through. So we're going to start with this, and it fits perfectly with today's episode. So last week I had a no-show. They haven't responded to my message regarding a cancellation fee. What do you recommend? Now, this is cancellations, no-shows is always a tough one.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you can't force anyone to come to your appointment.
No.
But you can hope that they respect your time enough that they will cancel it. And even if someone cancels it, 5 minutes before, not recommended,
no.
But at least it's not a no-show and you're just sat there waiting, for that client to walk through the door. Because obviously, people are late. You kind of think, at first, first 5 minutes, you're like, okay, they're late.
Yeah.
Then, 15 minutes goes, okay, they're not turning up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what would recommend? I mean,
it kind of depends. With that sort of thing, you kind of have to lay the foundations way before you get to that point. So if you've not laid any foundations regarding cancellation policies, cancellation fees, things like that, it's really hard because you don't have too much of a leg to stand on if they don't want to pay or get back to you or even respond to your messages.
Yeah. No, that's a nice point. It's like we spoke about in last week's episode, if you are having that online booking system, that will take the cancellation fee out of your hands anyway.
Yeah.
It's but from your message, I'm assuming if you are messaging them, you're more than likely they've booked through a direct message and it's not through a booking system, which is really unfortunate, but is why I definitely should have a booking system.
Yeah.
The ultimate is there's nothing you can really do.
No.
You can follow it up. The first thing you're going to do, they're not going to be booking with you again until they've paid that cancellation fee.
Absolutely.
Now, if it is a regular client and it's totally out of the blue for them and something has come up, because things can come up, I don't know, you could be just about to leave the house and something happens. There could be an accident. There could be all of those things. I think it's obviously much easier to allow that if it's a regular client that you know and trust rather than a new client.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it should never be a no-show because at some point, they should at least call you.
Yeah.
If you're having a booking system, you've got a reminder text, you've got a reminder email.
Yeah.
There is no excuse for any reason why they shouldn't at least let you know if they're not going to turn up.
And I think that's the thing. So this person has said that they're not responding. So then it's kind of, and I don't know if this is a bit harsh, but do you want that? If it's been...
Yeah,
if it's been a couple of days and they've not responded, do you want that client? Because it's not reliable. And I don't know. I know that's maybe a bit harsh, but... you said,
they don't respect you enough to send you a message back and say, I'm really sorry, but this has happened.
Exactly, because if, something happens on the day, okay, the day goes by, fine.
Yeah.
But by the next day, or at least, very, very least the day after, some kind of explanation would be needed for me, personally, to be okay, this is just a genuine situation with the client. We'll kind of, we'll do what we need to do, and we'll kind of...
Because really, they've burnt their bridge now.
Yeah.
If they're not going to reach back out to you... If they're not reaching out,
there's
the
nothing...
bridge is burnt.
Yeah, you can't... You're not going to get anything from them. So, I would say don't waste time and energy.
Yeah. Yeah, don't waste time and energy. These things happen in any business. People don't show up. Mm-hmm. I think with cancellations, there's a bit of a leeway. It's I've seen people put up about not cancelling within 7 days of an appointment. Mm-hmm. I think that's wild because how do you know in 7 days? Yeah. If someone's say they've had food poisoning the night before, they're not going to plan 7 days ahead. I think there needs to be that leeway, but at the same time respect yourself and your business enough to have the boundary of there is a cut-off point.
Yeah.
And when someone is genuinely ill and then you have to pay a cancellation fee from their side, it's annoying because you can't control that illness that's maybe happened but if you didn't cancel like a holiday or something, they're still going to charge you for the holiday. Like you still need to really implement your policy. And I think being self-employed is hard sometimes to do that because people don't always respect you as much as a bigger business.
But I also think that sometimes therapists feel that way, that it's like a smaller, you're not this big company, so you feel a little bit like you can't have such a strict policy in place, or I don't know, I've definitely, like, my policy is not up to where it should be personally, and from talking about it in our chats from this business, I know that it needs to be better, policy. And it will prevent these things. Having those policies in place, whether you just have it on your social media posted up, or whether you have it on obviously a booking system is better. If you have it on a booking system, you're covered. If you don't have anything, you're not covered. So you can't actually even be too mad at the client because they've not booked in with you knowing that there's any kind of policy. Like, as far as they're aware, they can cancel at any point.
And if you are having that communication via message, like, you need to definitely, like, have in your notes section, like, a script that you send, like, almost template of a booking system that you're sending them, and the policy in there being, like, the cancellation. Because then you have proof. There is at least a written, like, verbalize it, like a written contract, even if it is in text message. I don't recommend that, but
at
least
minimum,
it's still there. And I think you have to get in that habit from early, because even if you're super small and you might say having like 3-4 clients a week or whatever it may be, like one person cancels, okay, it's irritating, but the minute you're getting more fully booked and now you have a wait list of people and actually someone cancels, there is other people to take that, but they haven't had enough time to rearrange their plans to make that's when you're when you're a bit more in demand, that's when you really start seeing the differences.
Yeah, definitely.
Because your time is always precious, but if you do have that wait list of people, like, people are wanting to get in with you, but they can't, like, you haven't got the time. So then it becomes a bit more irritating. Whereas when you are slightly lesser, you've got more availability and you can move people around a bit more, it's still irritating nonetheless. But having that wait list of people that you know could fill that space and pay you that money, I just think it's like tipping, like, the edge a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like we said, booking systems, if someone cancels with us, it used to be 24 hours, which I thought was, like, fair, because I think, okay, 24 hours notice, it's still quite short on our end, but I think it's fair for the client, because I always try and put myself in the client position, but we've recently just changed it to 48, because as we've got busier, if someone cancels, like, people are trying to book in, so it doesn't make as much sense to have it so short.
Such last minute, yeah.
Because you don't want to miss out. Ultimately, you're a business, you need to operate like a business, and you need, like, clients to make sales to keep your business going. So you need to protect what you're doing.
Yeah.
But ours, they will get a text, like a reminder text and email 24 hours before, but the cancellation period will be 48 hours before. Because often I find you'll do a 24-hour policy, they'll get a message 24 hours before, then that's a reminding them that they have a treatment, and they might go ahead and cancel it. It's like, actually, no, like, their booking system, like a booking confirmation text is a bonus. Like, you've already booked in, like, you should know that your appointment's coming up. Like, it might slip your mind, but you should know that it's coming. And if they went to cancel automatically online, before they could cancel, it would say, basically they'll be charged however much. And we do, if they cancel after 48 hours, it's 30% cancellation fee. So they can cancel, but they need to pay the fee.
Yeah. Because you might not fill that space.
You might not fill that space.
Obviously, the hopes is that with the cancellation policy, you give yourself time to be able to fill that slot.
Yeah.
But if you can't fill that slot, then at least you have something.
Yeah. At least you can pay for just like the therapist's time.
Yeah.
Because if they've booked it so far in advance, people like to book ahead. So, yeah, you need to have something in play, and that's why a booking system takes all of that extra stuff.
Yeah.
Like the chasing back and forth.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say as well, from personal experience, like I was saying earlier with my cancellation policy, just start it from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because your clients, like our clients here at Lux, they all are aware of that. And anyone new that's booking in, they can all see that. And it's nothing new to them. It's just part of it, really. And although you've had
most people should know that there's a policy. But they'll be sneaky if there's not.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. So
clear.
for myself at home, I haven't had a really strict one. And I'm kind of looking, same, I'm on fresher as well. So I'm kind of looking to kind of put one in place and have a little bit more stability in that way, because it does happen every now and then. You get clients cancel really last minute. And for me, because I don't have a cancellation policy, I felt like I haven't been able to then charge anything. And so then I have lost out. Yeah. And so then now I'm trying to put this cancellation policy together, but it feels a little bit harder. And I feel really guilty on the clients who I've had for years sort of saying, oh, I need you to kind of agree to this cancellation policy, and I need you will have to pop your card details in. I'm not going to take any money from you, but it just kind of secures the appointment. And it is just that awkward thing, whereas if I'd have just had it from the get-go, I wouldn't even be thinking about it now. So I would just say...
There's nothing to implement.
Yeah, I would say if you're starting out, I don't know about this person that's messaged in, but for anyone who's listening, if you're just starting out and you're worried about putting a cancellation policy in place because you are new, you're not as busy, just don't even think that. Just start as you mean to go on, because it's much harder to bring it in later.
And the thing is, there's different options than the cancellation. You could also take deposits.
Yeah.
So a deposit could be non-refundable. It's just a contract to say, look, I've booked this appointment. It gets deducted off the final bill. Some places, like on Booksy, I think an option for them is the card doesn't take any money, but it holds the cancellation amount. So, like, I think on one of mine, it's like £17.60 or something, and it says it will hold it. Because that's the thing, on the third-party sites like these, when you book a treatment, it tells you in black and white, like, this is the cancellation policy, and by booking this treatment, like, this is what you're agreeing to. And then you actually have, like, a contract that you can go back to and be like, no, this is the case. And on these systems, like, you have their card details already, so you can simply... Obviously, definitely call them before and send them an email and say, look, I'm going to be charging the cancellation fee. And you can charge it automatically on there. That's why it's set up. Now, we've had it before where someone has, I don't know if they called to cancel. Something happened, but basically couldn't make their appointment. I think it was probably a fair reason, but we went to charge their card and it declined, it didn't go through. Now in that circumstance, it's like, how far do you actually want to take it? In my circumstance, I was just thinking, do you know what? It's it's a small amount of money. If they haven't got that on their card, I'll just leave it like that.
I remember that.
I wouldn't do it for... She had been a couple of times before, but I still respect the business enough to charge a cancellation fee. But it comes down to, what's it when you decide? It's down to, like, the discretion. Well done. It's down to the discretion of the person dealing with it, in the sense of, if they haven't got £11 on their card, do you know what? Maybe they actually, like, they can't afford it right now, or something's going on, or X, Y, and Z, and it should just be left like that. Partly because if I was in that situation, I would want a bit of leeway as well. But there's only a certain amount of leeway you can do. And obviously, if so many people do it in one time, it kind of grinds your gears. That's another thing, is don't go and, like, bitch on social media about cancellations. Like, I had a situation, here, and that she bitched about me on her social media. And nothing major, but I wasn't cancelling. So, and actually it was months ahead and I hadn't actually booked it. And I was booking in a shoot, and we were just having like a change up here, and I wanted to push it back. I wanted to push it back like a month or so. And it's a lot of it was a lot of money. I think it was like £1,500 maybe. Like, it was a lot of money for what we were having done, and I wanted to push it back because things were a bit rocky. And and do you know what? I don't even think she had responded. I don't remember if she had even responded to me before she went online. But she just put up a thing saying like, I wonder if I could find it. That I'm like a small business. I've had 2 cancellations this week. Like, people don't realise how much this affects small businesses. Now, me in my email, I was saying, can I reschedule for another date she had given me?
Bearing in mind as well, months in advance.
Yeah, this was like, I maybe was booking it 3-4 months ahead of time.
It wasn't like you'd rescheduled an appointment that she'd booked like even the following week.
Yeah.
It was,
And so she's put up this post saying cancellation. I understand cancellation annoying. I understand small business is tough. Like, I understand all those things, but what you're not going to do is bitch about me and then still expect me to come and pay for your custom. So I'm not going to be taking a fall. And I said that to her. I said, do you know what? I'm not rescheduling. Like, I'm not even cancelling because it wasn't fully affirmed. We're just not going ahead with this. And she took the post down and she did apologise. And I still like her stuff. Like, I still respect what she does. I think she looks great, like, does great at what she does. But I just think, in that situation, like, if I went online, and there's times where you want to be like, this is my cancellation policy. But if someone is genuinely cancelling, you're going to make them feel like shit. Like, you won't make them feel good. They'll be anxious to come back to you. You need to deal with it. And also, it's just not professional.
No.
Like, you would not see a big company going on their social media saying, oh, we've had this cancellation, like, all this just petty, like, stuff that we put up. It's like, we can be annoyed, but be annoyed and text your friend and have a little, like, moan about it. You don't need to go online and moan about it, because you'll just lose those clients. You still need to respect them enough to not do that. Yeah. And they should be respecting you. Like, it goes both ways. But yeah, it's a good question, that. But I thought last week we had a do you know what? I think cancellations comes in they come all at once.
In waves, yeah.
In waves. You'll have it where you get loads of cancellations one week, and I always feel like everyone has cancellations at the same time, because I'll see other people post and like moan about cancellations, and in my head I'm thinking, yeah, that's it. But last week we had a stormer, because...
Oh my gosh.
So you were like... So what, we're filming this in April right now.
Yeah.
Your next hour slot wasn't until, like, going into May.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we had... I don't know if we had 6 people cancel. And you had 6 cancellations on Friday.
Yeah.
So
I went from fully booked to not a single client.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Completely. And the thing is, some didn't happen the week of, some happened a couple of weeks before. But most of them, I had maybe like 2 or 3 people in the same day cancel on that Friday. And then that suddenly changes it. And it made me think, because a few weeks back I seen a chart on Fresh Air, and it was like the cancellation rate, and I was trying to find it to see, but I don't even know where it was.
Wow. I didn't know they had that.
Yeah. Do you know what? When I look at it on my phone, when I look at it on the iPad, and when I look at it on the computer, I see all different things. But it made me like look up like March. Well, have a look at March, have a look at April. So in March, obviously, Chloe had joined us. We had 247 appointments booked and 180 like completed. We had 67 cancellations.
Wow.
So just to give like a reference.
That's crazy.
Actually, what month are we in? We're in April. 67. The average sale So that would have been that month. Obviously, some of their appointments would have then been filled and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that would have been 3,278
if they were all fulfilled.
Booking. Like, that's how much was lost with all of those bookings cancellation. And April's similar. We've had 51 cancellations in April so far. And that,
6 of those were on one day.
Yeah. And it happens. And obviously you can refill them and whatnot. But it does throw, like, a real spanner. Like, because you can... And I guess I'm trying to say, like, don't get disheartened by cancellations happening, because it happens to everyone. It happens in all types of businesses, and you just have to keep going and use that time to do something like clean out your drawers, or like rearrange your furniture, or do some of your social media. Like, spend that time wisely, because it's not always going to happen, but when it happens in one day, it can be super frustrating. But just as much as possible, you know, throw up a discount for that day, because you'd rather have something than nothing. And just choose to spend your time wisely in what you do.
I think the thing is, when you're running a business, there's always going to be other stuff you can do. So just don't get cut up about that loss. Just, like you said, make the most out of it. Keep yourself busy. And they'll either come back or you'll gain other clients. Don't get hung up on those no-shows that... Going back to this lady, the no-shows that don't get back in touch with you. There are...
Because a lot of people will respect your time. You know, I had another one of those situations recently where they cancelled. They must have had the reminder. They messaged saying, "Oh, I can't make it anymore," like wanting to rearrange. And also, don't be fooled by someone saying they want to rearrange to get out of a cancellation fee. Like, I've got a cancellation fee, but we can like also rearrange you. Depending on that client type, because often you'll move the appointment and then they'll just cancel the next appointment and they won't need to be charged. I had another lady where you tried to charge her card, it declined, and I thought, oh, okay, this might be another situation. But I sent her a link and she paid it. Like, people will respect, like, people should respect your business, and if they, like, you and your business, and if they don't, then they have no business being your client, really. But make sure you're on a booking system, so it just takes all of that hassle out of it.
I think that's the main thing. It's because it shouldn't ever get to the point where you can't get hold of the person that's no-showed. And it just shouldn't ever get to that point, and your booking system won't allow you to get to that point, because if you do get to that point where they're not gonna, you know, because obviously if they don't show up, you're going to give them a call. If they're not answering, if they're not answering your text or your message and they're not answering your phone call, then you go through a booking system. And everything should be on there. The whole point of a booking system is security. So everything should be on there. And it's very, very rare that a payment doesn't go through. That, like you said, you've already touched on that. But more often than not, your booking system will save you.
Exactly. And just make sure you are sticking to your guns. Like, you actually keep things implemented and you're not just lenient to everyone.
And you have to as well, because when I was in another, like a previous salon, we put in place a booking system, and we put in place like the confirmations and deposits and things like that. It was a whole thing. I think it was coming back from COVID. And our regular clients, who we'd had for years and years and years, were really offended that we'd put in this like cancellation policy that they had to confirm to and, you know, put their details in for, because they felt like they'd been such long-term clients. Why would we ask them to confirm, blah, blah, blah. But you can't really be picky and choosy, because you have to be the same for all of your clients. You have to treat them all equal in that sense.
Everything should be streamlined. Like, this is actually just what...
And it's not personal.
It's not personal.
It's business at that point. And there you have that personal relationship. It's not touching on that personal relationship that, oh, they've been with you for 20 years or whatever it is. It's not about that. It's you covering yourself and having it just across the board for everyone.
And I just think you should look at it like, oh, like, go them. They're actually like putting their foot down and respecting themselves. And if I've had to cancel something, like, I will actually say to them, oh, do you have a cancellation? Like, send me a link to pay if I've had to cancel something last minute, because it happens. You know?
happens.
It does indeed. Wow. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to today's podcast.
Yeah.
We will be back again next week. But in the meantime, if you want to keep up to date with us, then check us out on Instagram and TikTok. We post on there much more regularly, and I try and switch up the content as much as possible.
Yeah.
If you're watching us on YouTube, then please do subscribe to our channel, give us a like, and if you have any feedback or comments or anything that you'd like us to talk
questions,
then please do send it in. Our email is hello@luxandmore.com, and we would be happy to cover them on the podcast. But for now, my name is Megan.
And my name's Amy.
Until next time,
We're checking out.